Morning YouTubers. Today I'm in the garage doing some odd jobs, and the outside temperature of the garage is 29.6 degrees centigrade. Inside the garage it is 24.5 degrees centigrade, and the time is 11:45 or 10:44 AM in old money. And this is just an update of where I am with different things, and I'll just show you a couple of silly things. Not so long back we stopped at a campsite called Longnor Wood Caravan Park, and it's at a place called Longnor. And while we were there, we were on pitch 38. But during our stay, they decided they didn't like the numbers on the pitches, and they went for some different ones. So all the pitch numbers were thrown in the skip, thrown away. And I thought, no, I want mine, because I quite like the shape of the caravan. And so I recovered it out the skip. And I could have had the whole lot of numbers, but I decided to get the pitch number we were on. So that's number 38. So that's why I've got that. And I've cleaned it up. It's an aluminium front and a plastic back sign. So I've got a record of my stay at Longnor Wood Caravan Park. So I can actually better stand it there. Oops. So anyway, I'll put that up somewhere on the wall, I think. Right, okay, what else am I going to talk about? Oh yes, I've finished the decals that I'm going to do on my test equipment I made. So I've got a signal generator here, which is 35 megahertz to 4 gigahertz. I've got my attenuator there, which is in dB 1, 3, 5, 10 and 20 dB. I've got my frequency meter here, which goes up to about 500 megs. I can't remember. I have to write things down. So I've got a frequency meter there, and this is my DC power supply unit, because a lot of equipment I work on is 5, 9, 12 or 15 volt operation, and rather than use separate power units, I can plug this in to my main power unit sitting here, which is a second-hand Watson, quite an old one, but it works fine. Plug it in there, it gives me all these voltages for testing things. I've got a small dummy load because I run QRP. Now, for nobody interested in radio, QRP just means low power. And one thing or another, I've got an SWR power meter for measuring the aerial, one thing or another. And talking about radios and one thing or another, one of the problems I'm having is to do with working portable. Portable means taking a portable aerial and a radio out and going on top of a hill somewhere and making contact with people, a bit like fishing. But the problem I'm having, I call on the what's called the low power calling frequencies, and they are, where is it, QRP, I've got a list here, 14285 on the 20 meter band and 7.285 on the 40 meter band. And yeah, it's awkward because you may be calling with 3 or 5 watts of power, you make contact with someone, and then someone in another country who's running 300 watts or a kilowatt of power will come on to that frequency, and that's it. totally ruined. He's calling for CQ on that frequency and you're totally screwed, basically. And that's the problem I'm having. I only made a couple of contacts calling on the QRP calling frequency. So not very good. I'm a bit upset about that, but I don't think people realise there's a QRP calling frequency, which means low power, and you just get blasted out. As people come on that channel, they couldn't care less about anybody else. They just want to get as many contacts as they can. So I'm a little bit annoyed about that, and so I'm waiting to go out and do some QRP work to see if I can make any contact. But the weather is atrocious. I can't go out in 40 degrees C with no shade on top of a hill somewhere. It's not possible. And I've got other aerials. I've got my excuse the confusion here, it's just standing in the corner of my garage workshop. This is my tripod mounted QRP magnetic loop aerial for the 20 meter band and the 40 meter band, and I just change by putting that link in swaps bands, and I've got the tuning capacitors there. It's a magnetic loop, all low power and things like that. In terms of the motorhome, or my motorhome, the Talbot, we haven't got anything planned going away, because very simply the children are off school and it's the peak of the summer holiday seasons, and the costs go up and the sites are pretty booked, so it's very difficult to get away. So we use the month of August for mainly jobs around, and I've got to do some welding on the motorhome, and I've got to check the step on the driver's side. I've got to do some paint work, touch up. I've got some pinholes in some of the wheel arches, which I'm going to treat, grind down, treat and fill with a two-part epoxy or glass fibre material, and respray it, just that area. It's not structural, it just makes it look better in that area. The driver's door is rotted nearly completely out at the bottom, and I've tried to get a second-hand door but haven't managed to get one. But that is one of my jobs, a big job I've got to do. I've got to do an oil change on the engine and do an oil change on the gearbox, and just do a general service, and that's planned as well. So that's it so far as part of this video. Well, a bit later on in the day, it's almost 4 o'clock, which is supposed to be the hottest. See if I can get this shadow off the camera. Can't. Okay, I'll try and read it. It's 25.3 in the bungalow, and it's 34.3 degrees centigrade outside, and the temperature is still going up. Can you see that? I don't know if you can. Shut all the doors. Morning, YouTubers. Excuse the traffic noise. The noise is dependent on which way the wind's blowing and all the breeze, and of course it's rush hour at the moment, people are going to work. But I thought I'd give you a quick tour of the garden. And when we first moved in, this half of the garden here was like shingle, and we took all that up and give it away to neighbours and one thing or another, and this is what the garden looks like now. We've had peas and beans, and we've had beetroot and spring onions. We've got some spring onions going on down here, and we've had side of the workshop, we've had beetroot in here. This is better soil. We've got the water feature going for the birds. We've got peppers growing here. There's some peppers. There's a pepper there. Can you see it? Just there. These are chili peppers. There's one. Just there. The light's very harsh. And that's a quick view of the garden.